Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 11 Working with the Clients and Their Families. Personal support workers are working with the clients in the facility and in the community setting. We have to work with the family members as well. Therefore, we have to be careful about the language we use, the behavior we show, the care procedure we follow, and the safety protocol we maintain of our clients. Everywhere we have to be careful, we have to be professional, and we have to provide culturally competent, culturally appropriate, empathetic client care all the times. Let's begin with what kind of relationship we have to maintain with the client. And what is the name of the relation between PSW and client? A relationship is connection between the two or more people and is shaped by the roles. What is more important in our life is the roles we play. These are the roles, or the roles determined by our scope of practice, the boundary in which we can work. These are the different roles we have to play. So, because of the role, our relationship is determined. If we play the assigned role in a nice way, in a polite way, in a professional manner, we can develop a therapeutic relationship between the client and us. This is called therapeutic relation. It is a goal-oriented relation. It is not a personal relation, but it is a professional relation. That's what is our relation with the client. And again, how we feel, we must have empathetic feelings, and how we interaction with our client, with the people, those who involve, how we interact with them. All these, our roles, our feelings, and our interaction, they determine if we are successful in establishing good relationship or not is heavily depend on what kind of role we play. If we are playing the professional role, we are successful in maintaining the good relation. And the name of that relationship, the name of this relationship is called therapeutic relationship. That relation is the relation between the client and the healthcare worker. The personal relationship, professional relationship, unethical to mix a professional relationship with the personal relationship. Remember, personal relationship with the client is very unprofessional. It is considered unethical. It is considered immoral in some times. It is not considered a good relationship. But the best thing is professional relationship. Because in personal relationship, there is a relation of love and hate, and we don't work with the client with that love and hate relationship. We don't personally influence other, and we don't want to be influenced personally by others. That's what is the realities of personal relationship. In the professional relationship, we are goal oriented. We have the specific time. In that time period, we demonstrate our role as a healthcare worker and we finish our job. This is what is the professional relationship we have to maintain and we have to demonstrate. Unethical to mix a professional relationship with a personal relationship. This is considered very unethical. We cannot mix two things together. It's like making a salad bowl. We can't mix the professional relationship with the personal relationship. Anywhere, in any profession, it makes problem. It is the root cause of problem if we try to mix the profession with the person, or the professional relationship with the personal relationship. Therefore, we have to maintain our professional boundaries. This is the scope of practice. We are not supposed to maintain the personal relationship with the client, but the professional relationship. So demonstrating the professional relationship is whatever we call the professional boundaries. These are limitations on behavior. What kind of behavior we demonstrate with our clients depends on the either the professional or personal, and we have to limit the personal behavior mean to protect vulnerable client from the caregiver who has access to private knowledge about him or her. If we go personally, we may be having um, so many access to the personal life, access to the bank account because of the personal relation, access to the other form of property because of the personal relation. We if we have the private knowledge of the client, we may be making the client even more vulnerable. When we read this, we have to understand why we are reading this. We cannot misuse this. We cannot misuse the private, use the private knowledge, and those knowledge we cannot use for our personal benefit. About him or her means the client. So the clients are always vulnerable. If we go to their personal life, we may know, we may have good access to their personal life, and we may be negatively utilizing their personal things for our personal benefit, which is very dangerous. When one person is dependent upon other, the balance of power may not be equal. Who is powerful between a personal support worker and the fragile old client in the 90s or 80s? We are more powerful because first thing, we are younger than them. Second thing, we have the intact knowledge than them. Third thing, we have the skill, judgment, and ability they do not have. And we cannot impose our skill and judgment, our knowledge to them and take the advantage of that. We cannot do it because the person who is dependent on other, we have to show the empathy. We cannot utilize our knowledge for the personal gain. We cannot use uh, our personal knowledge to benefit from the client. This is what is about this balance of power may not be equal because we are more powerful, they are less powerful. We have more knowledge, they have less knowledge. They are dependent, we are independent. We are there to guide them, assist them, help them, provide them care, not to take advantage of their weaknesses. Being aware and trying to make allowances for potential imbalances of power is important in maintaining professional boundaries. Let me repeat it. Being aware and trying to make allowances for potential imbalances of power is important in maintaining professional relationship. We have to be very careful uh, while maintaining the balances of our power. We are potentially imbalancing our power for the personal gain, and we have to follow the proper professional way to reject those ideas. And it is very important to maintain the professional boundaries, and it is necessary to discourage any personal boundaries, any personal access to the client's personal life, trying to get some benefit from the access when we have the knowledge, we have the private knowledge about him or her, and we have to make the balance, and that balance is working in a professional way and maintaining the professional boundaries. It is called maintaining the professional boundaries. We have to maintain the professional boundaries. Similarly, professional helping relationship. Our relationship with the client should be therapeutic relationship or professional helping relationship. It is not personal helping, it is professional helping. Professional helping relationship is established to help the client. We are always within the scope of practice. We never go personally, we always go professionally. If a client gives us money to utilize, we cannot accept the money. There is a big chance of monetary misuse. It is called financial abuse. If client gives us money, we have to say that we are not supposed to take any money from the client, if it is a personal gift or something like that. Demonstrates the following: respect. Again, we have to always show the respect, demonstrate the respect. Compassion, we have to be always careful, providing the care as per needed. What care they need, we have to follow the care plan and provide the care. Empathy is seeing the world through their eyes, putting our legs on their shoes and looking the situation from their perspective, not our personal perspective. Sympathy is not a good word to practice, because sympathy encourages the personal judgment to others, and we cannot judge others. Competence is the knowledge, the depth of knowledge we have to acquire. It's like cultural competence, linguistic competence, religious competence, or whatever type of other competence we have to develop there. We have to know other clients' religion also. If we do not know the religion, certain foods are guided by the religious activities. For example, in Islamic culture, we can never ever give them pork because they never touch it. In Hindu client, never give beef because Hindu people, they never touch beef, even don't imagine of eating that. That's why religion is very important to know. If we know others' religion, they even if they don't know our religion, we have to know their religion, because nursing care and religion, they have very good connection, because their food habit, their clothing habit, their communication habit, so many things are guided by culture and religion. And self-awareness, we have to know ourselves first. Are we being biased to our client? Put a question mark. See yourself in the mirror. Are we judging the client? Are we giving the judgmental voice? Are we teaching the client about their culture? And what is cultural appropriateness? Are we giving them unnecessary talking? If we become self-aware of our activities, it is a good professional relationship. So all these points are necessary points to know as a personal support worker. Independence, dependence, and interdependence. Independence, all people love to be independent. We are independent. Dependence, when people grow old, they depend on others. That's what dependence. Interdependence means we all are interdependent to each other. We are depending with our student are dependent on the teachers, teacher and student depend on the college is depend on the student and teacher. This all is called the interplay of the interdependence. These are the fundamental concepts in the professional helping relationship. We are helping to students, students are giving feedback to the teachers, teacher are putting forward those feedbacks to the college, and college is applying those feedbacks for the professional benefit of our student, and we are working together. We are a team member. We are like a family in a professional life. We are always depending on each other. That's what is interdependence. It's an important goal of most clients is to achieve or maintain as much independence as possible. But in a healthcare sector, when we are working with our client, our number one goal must be how to achieve or maintain as much independence as possible to our client. That's why do not try to feed your client. Try to encourage the client to feed himself or herself. If they can feed himself or herself, we are making them independent. If we are feeding them all the time, we are spoon feeding them all the time, what happens is even they don't want to eat themselves. They need somebody to feed themselves, and it increases the dependency more and more, which is not our goal. Our goal is to make our client as independent as possible. This is the concept. And the role of the support worker is again focused here. As a support worker, you must respect your client's choices. This is called like the deeps. In the dips, there is one word DII. I means independence, and another P. P is preferences. That is the preferences mean the client's choice. What food item today the client wants to eat? We have to ask the client because their choice is our goal. Since we fulfill our goal, we have to ask what they want today. What dress they want to wear today? What shoes they want to wear today? What kind of makeup they want to put today? What kind of nail polish? What kind of lipstick? What kind of uniform? What kind of socks? What kind of shoes? What kind of trouser? And which? And what time they want to go to take the to take food? To eat in the dining room. Everything we have to ask with our client. This is how we respect our client choices. Clients must never feel that you are judging their decision. This is the most important thing. We are not there to judge our client. We are not the judges of client. They are the judges of their life. They are the judges of their decision. They are the judges of their choice. We are no one to judge for them. They judge themselves. Rather, they judge us, not we can judge them. That's why we never have to be judgmental in the voice. You don't say them, oh, don't worry about that. This is a very bad word in nursing field. They are worrying, and who are we to tell them not to worry about that? That's a judgmental voice. We cannot be judgmental to our clients. Independence and self-esteem. Independence. When people are independent, they don't have to depend on other. They are self-dependent. And when the independent people have a good self-esteem, high self-esteem, is a self-confidence. Self-esteem, another word is a self-confidence. If they believe, they have a trust on doing something, they have a high self-esteem, they can do something better. What makes a client feel good about themselves? Always think about that. What makes a client feel good about themselves? Try to think about that. Self-esteem can suffer when independence is limited or lost. See here, self-confidence, self-esteem can suffer, can be compromised. Suffer means here compromise. It's very limited. When a dependent person become independent and independence is limited and lost. When person has a free life, person enjoy the whole life very freely in a free environment. Now the person grew old, certain medical diagnoses were there, and person is bedridden. Almost of the time the person is sleeping on the bed. Now the person has become depending on other, and independent here is very much limited and it is lost. This is how people have a low self-esteem. Self-esteem must be very high. Even as a student, if we have a good self-esteem, high self-esteem, we have the self-esteem of, I will pass this in good marks in the final exam, the first attempt I will pass the NSCC exam. If we think like that, it is a good self-esteem. Always we do better. Our encouragement and praise the client's success. We have to encourage the client, how the nice achievement they had in life. We have to praise the client's success, how they got the success in life. If we make them happy by praising their great deeds, great achievements, great works during their life, they will be feeling happy and they will have the high self-esteem. If their self-esteem is low, they feel depressed, and we are not there to make them feel depressed. We have to praise their success. We have to encourage them all the time. We have to increase their independence. This is the goal of our job. Offer honest feedback. Don't use sugar-coated language. Don't speak very sweet like sugar. Give honest feedback in a gentle way and in a supportive manner. Always be supportive. Always establish a good therapeutic relation with the client and ensure that you are there to support them. You are there to help them. You are there to communicate them. You are there to not to feel them isolated or alone. They are always feeling loneliness. Their kids are grown up and they are away from their place of living, their homes. That's why they are feeling isolated, they are feeling loneliness, their friends and families are not there. So you are the one who can give honest feedback and support and encourage and praise and make them independent as much as you can. Independence and the balance of power. We have to make our power very much balanced. We do not misuse our power with the client. When one person is dependent on another, the balance of power may not be equal. Who is more powerful? Once again, the same question. You are more powerful because you are not depending on other. You are independent, they are dependent on you. That's why you are more powerful. But you do not misuse that power. You try to make your client more and more independent. You try to praise the client. You try to keep their self-esteem very high. You try to keep their trust on themselves very high. You are there to support them. Let them feel that they are strong. This is how is the goal of a PSW. We have to achieve that goal by working very hard. Be aware of your power in a professional relationship. You are powerful now. You have a knowledge, you have a skill, you have a judgment, you have an age, you are younger, but be mindful that this power is a professional power. You use the power in a professional way, not a personal way. In some situation, it may lead to the stronger person abusing the dependent person. See, there are so many YouTube video you can see how a PSW is abusing the client and how the PSW are being penalized by their verbal abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, psychological abuse, and so on. There are so many type of abuse because they are powerful. They can abuse the weaker. So there should not be any dichotomy, the hierarchy versus the hierarchy of powerful versus the weak, the personal support versus the client. Let there be no hierarchies as such, because once the hierarchy is formed, you are misusing the power to the fragile old people. And once it comes to the attention, if other people knows it, you have to pay it back. It is very bad for the professional and personal life of a PSW if they misuse the power. If possible, involve the client in solving problem and making decision that may arise. In certain situation, our role is to involve the client in their own care in the problem solving situation. Let's encourage the client in the problem solving situation and making decision that may arise. If there may be so many decision comes in the treatment process, in the caregiving process, let them bring as a part of our care process. Let them include in the care plan, and let's finalize what they can do for themselves and what we can do for them. This is how we can encourage them, we can make them independent, and we can balance the power. Client's family. At the same time, in the community setting and both in the facility setting, we are working in connection with the families. A family is a biological, sometime legal, or sometimes social network of people who provide support for one another. Family does not mean biological only. Family also means the legal or social network of people who provide support for the one another. Whenever they need the support, they will provide. If there is nobody in the family, the government social network is working as a family support, as a power of attorney. They are working, they are looking after the client, which is very nice for everybody. Families can take different forms. Your client will determine who he or she regards as a family member. Even the pet animals they regard as a family member. It's mentioned in the nursing literature. Even the pet animals they regard as a family member. That's why it's a client who determines who he or she regards as a family member. You may assist the family in the different ways. Therefore, our duty is to assist the family also, because family are always connected with the client care, and Families are, if they are not connected with the client's care, they are connected emotionally with the client. They are family member, and we have to work in coordination with the family, with the client, with the agency we work, with the facility we work, in the hospital we work, with the nursing supervisor and the nurses, occupational therapists and physiotherapists, and even with the doctors. Therefore, the big family of the healthcare team and the client's family and client himself or herself, this is a big network of providing quality care to our families and the clients. Families in conflict. Sometimes family is in the conflicting mode. Family cannot make the decision. Family has an issue with certain two different thoughts. When illness or disability occurs, the stress on all the family member may be great. When some member of the family has a new diagnosis of certain fatal disease, and they always in a great, and they all have to cope with the conflict. They do not know what to do, what not to do. They are in a big situation of not being able to decide something concrete. Conflict may take the form of expression of irritation. When people are in the conflicting situation, they don't be very calm and quiet. The expression of those conflicts may be irritation, maybe anger, maybe bickering or arguments, the conversation with other healthcare worker, including we people, including you or me or whoever. Conflict may sometimes be hidden. Sometimes people are intelligent to hide the conflict. Sometimes members of the healthcare team can help families resolve the difficulties by encouraging the communication or diffusing the tense situation. Healthcare families, healthcare workers and the family member, they try to resolve the conflict in working together and diffusing the tense situation. Diffuse means just erasing, just minimizing the intense situation by the help of proper solution. In some situation, you must observe and report on family interaction and also be alert to the sign of abuse. If there is a sign of abuse, you have to report. If the family is abusing the client, you have to report. If the family has a different concern, you have to report. If a family has some expression, you have to document and report to your supervisor or the nurse you are working with. This is how we are working with the families who are in the conflicting condition, no matter what. But we are always here to work professional manner, and we have to maintain our professionality. This is what is the job of a personal support worker. Thank you for your patience and listening to this lecture. I highly encourage you to go through the textbook and the lecture together and email me if you have any difficulties. Thank you. Have a good day.